Good day, YouTube. Happy Monday to you at the time of this recording. I'm Amos at the GM station in Parts Unknown. Welcome into a roster breakdown for the 2022 season, where we're going to talk about little bits of what happened last season, our results, our new coaching staff. We've fired some people and we've hired new ones. We're going to do a position-by-position breakdown of the Major League roster. May highlight a prospect here and there, / some interesting free agent signings for prospects. Because usually you can clean up for some good prospects near the beginning of the season. So we're going to look at those real quick. And someone actually requested me to make a video like this. So here's your warning. Nothing fancy. But I don't know how long it's going to be either, because I'm not really going to edit it. So I'm going to tell you the information you want to know, and then we're going to go from there. Sorry if you see light randomly come from here. I got a game pulled up here. I'm not a professional YouTuber. So anyway, so let's hop into it. Let's talk about what happened last season real quick. And as you can see here, we finished at 81-81, which is surprising, but not surprising. This is a team that we had our extreme, how can I say this? We had our, what's the word am I looking for? We won a lot of games in a row, and we lost a lot of games in a row. We had our streaks. We were a streaky team. I guess that was the best way to put it. So finishing at 81-81 isn't exactly the worst thing. Obviously, we didn't make the playoffs. We looked pretty good, but it seemed like we fell off in September. But like I said, 81-81 is a good record. That means we pretty much hit net even. Obviously not as good as the real-life Giants. Well, what can you do? So we're going to go over to our coaching staff here. I'm not going to talk about the scouts because it's not really that important, really. Now, as you can see here, the first thing you may notice is that we do have a new manager. Gabe Kapler went to another team. I don't know which team he went to, but he did not come back with us. So we were forced to go out and sign another one. Now, durability was a big problem for this team last year. We lost Steven Duggar. We lost Tommy Listello. We had a starting pitcher go down. We just had injuries. Solano lost some time. So we went out and nabbed Emmanuel O'Brien for roughly 4.6 mil per year. And a 3-year contract. And as you see, he's got +2 on durability, stealing, plate vision, which is something that we really needed, and +1 on velocity for pitchers, which is great. 3-year contract. We're going to see how he does. This is his first time as a manager. Hitting coach, we kept the same. Joe Hanna, he didn't go anywhere. Pitching coach Bob Hill, he is still here. We did get 2 new coaches on the corners. Both of our first base and our third base coaches retired, so we went out and grabbed David Pace, a first base coach, 2-year, $2 million contract. So once again, we got the +1 on durability, arm strength, which is pretty important for our fielders, especially at our corner positions. +1 is stealing, which is great because we have more speed on this team. I'll get into that later. And +2 to blocking, which is also very important. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to explain to you why blocking is important. Anyway, and then third base coach Terry Bradshaw, no relation to the other Terry Bradshaw people know. So he got a 3-year deal, making a little over $1 million a year. Arm strength, arm accuracy +1, +2 to speed. I really wanted to focus on speed. That's something this team just did not have last year. And +1 to reaction, which was a nice bonus. And of course, we still got our farm director Corey Matthews. I could have went out and got another coach for that, but I decided to leave him be for now, because I figure we know what we're looking into. So let's go to the roster. And now, like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a position-by-position breakdown. And I'm just going to go over, the Major League roster. Maybe some interesting prospects to keep an eye on, both free agency and prospects. But let's just start here. And for the starting rotation, this is just in order by their overall. This is not how the rotation is going to look. So first off, we got Logan Webb. He was down in the minors last year, tweaking on his mechanics. He's back up for another start this year, and basically this is going to be his opportunity. We're going to see if he can deliver, and if it looks like he doesn't deliver, we may trade him. I mean, just who knows? That's going to suck, but we'll see if I can even, yeah. We're in the last year that we can trade him according to my franchise rules. Rick Mossy got a 2-year extension. He did excellent last season, even through simming. Even though his potential is still a D, his overall went up 3 points compared to when we signed him. So we will take that. We even saw a little bit of an uptick in his velocity in some games, including touching 99, which was the first time I've ever seen him do that. So we're going to see if he can improve on that. The biggest acquisition of our starting rotation, we got Robbie Ray from the Blue Jays with a trade. They were looking for another closer for whatever reason. So we traded Jake McGee to them for Robbie Ray. Now, I thought they would have wanted more than just Jake McGee, but apparently they were happy with Jake McGee. So I guess probably because he's still under contract for the season. So they took on his cheap contract. They sent us Robbie Ray. They actually offered another prospect too, but I just did a 1-for-1 deal. Keep it kind of fair. So Ray at 30 years old, as you can see, just a bit under $5 million. He's probably going to be our ace. I'll probably make him our ace. Of course, Anthony Banda back to the rotation. And now the starting pitching, I had plans to go get different starting pitchers. However, they ended up re-signing with certain teams. Like a guy that I was targeting was Jose Barrios for the Twins. He went back to the Twins. So he was signed up. And to be honest, a lot of the top free agent starting pitchers got signed within the first 2 weeks of free agency. So by the time the winter meetings got here, there wasn't much to negotiate. So why not experiment? Why not have that interesting fifth piece? I'm going to go with former Cub and former Giant, Jeff Semarja. Yes, he's 37 years old, $3.6 million, but his stats still look pretty good. And not to mention he can hit a little bit versus righties. He's not Shohei Ohtani, but he's probably got the most power out of our pitching. So the 6'4", 37-year-old, going to be part of our pitching staff. We're going to see how he does. Expectations, we'll see. So that's going to be our planned pitching staff. Now, some notables to keep an eye on here. Of course, we got Seth Corey in AAA. I was really close to putting him on the starting rotation for this year, but I think he needs a little bit more seasoning because he spotted about a 6 ERA last year in AAA. So I'm going to see if he can improve on that. We got Sean Jelly down in AAA. Now, his potential's actually dropped to a C overall. He was a beast. So that's something to keep an eye on. And, of course, we got players like J.J. Goss and Rico Garcia who did good. And our first-round pick from last season, Ward Neagle, starting in AA. As you can see, there's his stats there. A lot to work on. It won't be anytime soon before he's called up. With a 99-mile-per-hour fastball, so that means he could possibly touch triple digits. So he's in AA right now, just to see how he does, and if he doesn't do well, we'll send him down the same play. Checking out the relieving core. Reyes Morontia is actually going to be our closer. He got a sweet contract extension, which, you know, I think people were going to, if you have watched in the past, you know I was leaning to Reyes Morontia to be the guy, our future closer. Now, he's 29 years old. He got a 3-year deal, but his overall is actually expected to go up more. So we're going to see how far up he goes. He did fantastic for us last season, rocking a 2.78 ERA. He had 27 saves. He did blow 8 of them, but, you know, let's cut him a little bit of slack there. I think he'll do better this year. Of course, we're going to set the training to control for 1 month and maybe the walks per 9. So we're going to see how that goes. That's a little too low for me. Jordan Hicks, a big addition from the Cardinals that we got. I don't remember who we sent to the Cardinals. So I couldn't tell you. I know we got him in a trade, I believe. So I'll have to go back and find that. 25 years old, very cheap, 2.8 mil. Same thing with Morontia. Control and walks are going to be a problem, but he's got that velocity. Of course, he's got the outliner 1 perk, as you can see right here. Pressure cooker. He's going to be good in situations where there's runners on base, which is something that we really need against these better teams like the Dodgers, who just got better, which I won't go into them, but they just got better. So, yeah, I think Jordan Hicks is going to be happy with us. The Cardinals kept tossing him around AAA and the majors and AAA and the majors, but now he's with us and he is a set piece on our team. The rest of our bullpen looks pretty much the same except for Caleb Bargaar. He's going to be our new long reliever with the departure of Tropiano. You know, he's a free agent now. This dude's 27 years old. He did very good in AAA. I wish I could show you his AAA stats, but I can't. But he did very good. Like, they even, for some reason, the game had him as a starter, and he still won 8 games. So, obviously, a long reliever. If someone gets hurt, he could be a spot starter. But I don't know what to expect. He's a long lefty, rocking a fastball, curve slider, and 2-seamer. So, we're going to keep an eye on him. A couple of notables here to keep an eye on. Looking at Zach Thompson, he hasn't been working out since the trade with the Cardinals last year and the Wilmer Flores deal. Really struggled, so he's going to be one of my centerpieces to keep an eye on to see if he can improve. 23 years old, out of AA there. And that's pretty much it when it comes to relievers. You know, we've got no ground on a couple of players. Anyway, we'll just go into that. Not much to say about the closer. We still have our same 2 people. Of course, Jake McGee was on this list, but he's no longer with us, so he's not there anymore. We do have our second-round pick, Cesar Dorta. As you can see, his numbers there. 19 years old, lefty out of Kentucky, rocking a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. He does not have the outliner perk. That does not mean he could top 100. I think he can top 100. 96-mile-per-hour cutter mixed in with a 83-mile-per-hour 12-6 curve and a 90-mile-per-hour slider. Look really good. A lot of seasoning to do. And, of course, we got Anthony Tyler Seer, who's kind of just stalled. I mean, he's really good in AAA, but I'm not going to have a closer that's a 63 overall, even though his numbers look. So I don't know what to do with him. Catcher. All right, let's get the big elephant out of the way first. We brought back Buster Posey. He is not going to be our starting catcher, though. That contact took a big dip from last season, so it's not really worth having him as our starter anymore. Great late inning or late game defensive replacement for sure. Maybe he will get some at bats if Brandon Belt needs a day off. You know, he's still going to play. Got him back on a 1-year, $9 million contract, which sounds cheap, but he wanted 7. We gave him 9. So, just a 1-year deal. I would like for him to retire as a Giant. So we're going to do everything we can to allow him to retire. He's still got ways to go, though, at an 82 overall. Of course, Joey Bart. He struggled really bad last season. He started off really good, but then as the season progressed, he just a lot of swings and misses. Just that's what it was. Just a lot of swings and misses. Only a 221 average, which is even worse than the shortened season. 12 homers, 33 RBIs. So a lot of pressure on him to really pick it up this year. And of course, we'll get to see the debut of Raul Bautista. Former prospect, 19 years old out of California, can play first base as well. Does a lot better versus lefties, so you'll see him starting versus lefties, which is great because our first game of the season is against the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw's game 1. So we'll get to see Raul Bautista in the first game of the season. 6'4", 227. And as you can see, he doesn't really have an arm. He doesn't really have any accuracy, but he's got pretty good reactions. His blocking is already near MLB elite level. So we're going to see how he does here, given that he hit about 320 in AAA last season. When it comes to people to look out for, pretty much Brian Torres. He's the only one to look out for. He went up 4 overall points from last season. Very nice utility guy, 23 years old out of Puerto Rico. Very good defensively. Pretty fast for a catcher at 81, as you can see right above here. But the contact's just not there, so of course he's in AAA. First base, we brought back Brandon Belt on a 1-year, $6 million deal. Once again, I had plans for first base. I was gonna go after Freddie Freeman. That was my target, was Freddie Freeman, but he decided to go somewhere else. Actually, I don't remember where he went. I don't think he went back to the Braves though. Let me check that real quick. I don't think he went back to the Braves. But my goal was okay. He did go back to the Braves, and as you can see, the Braves really re-signed him. As he's going to make a whopping $41.4 million at the last year of his contract. So that's ridiculous. So I wasn't going to pay him that much money. So obviously they backloaded that deal. I wasn't going to top that. So I'm going to go back out and get one of my best offensive guys from last season, Brandon Belt, who hit 22 homers, 65 RBIs, 262 average. He didn't really go down any. So that's good. Probably going to use him more for sure in a platoon role, even though he will get the start against Clayton Kershaw game 1. And other than that, Gavin Sheets, Ryan Benjamin, just players to keep watch of. Heading over to second base. One of our big free agent signings was Cesar Hernandez, which doesn't sound like a lot, but we needed some versatility in the batter's box. And Cesar Hernandez is going to provide that for us. It was tough to not bring back Donovan Solano. It was really tough. But Cesar Hernandez is 3 years younger, and he's a switch hitter. And he can play anywhere in the infield, kind of like what Solano could do. But he is faster, and he's more durable. So Cesar Hernandez, I'm going to look forward to seeing what he can do. Just a 1-year, $8 million contract. Look for him to possibly hit leadoff, maybe number 2, because it'd be nice to have that lineup or that speed in front of our power guys. And of course, Tommy Listello, who missed a lot of last season due to injury. He only played 90 games. He's back starting against righties. He is got 2 years left of his contract, 6.3 and then 7.1 in 2023. No one really notable in the minors. So we're just going to move on from here. Third base. When the Rule 5 player draft happened, I wanted to find kind of just a random backup infielder that wasn't really going to... If he didn't work out, we weren't going to lose a lot. So we went out and picked up Cody Hose. And 23 years old, 6'4", 200 pounds. I don't remember which team he was a part of beforehand. For some reason, it doesn't show, but he was in the Rule 5 pick. So, there we go. I mean, he's not going to be our starter. Luis Toribio, of course, is going to be our normal, everyday third baseman with who's getting a start every now and then. You know, if Toribio needs a day off. Of course, we got Jason Vossler, Jacob Gonzalez, and Nash Knight, who I snagged up from free agency, a nice little switch hitter. Probably won't see major time, but just someone to look at. Shortstop, probably our strongest position in the whole roster. Of course, Will Wilson, who improved phenomenally. 69 or 68 overall. Last year when he got called up, he's now 72. His defense has gotten better, especially that arm strength. Contact versus lefties has went up. His plate visions went up. He didn't do half bad last season either. Only hit 5 home runs, 22 RBIs, but he hit 266. And as you can see, we went ahead and locked him up for not a mega deal, but just long enough. So he wanted less. He wanted $100,000 a year. We gave him $116,000 a year, which woohoo, cheapo GM, I guess. More notables, of course, we got Marco Luciano waiting in the wings down in AAA. He's looking good. Reinel Delgado, Adrian Acevedo. This guy I snagged in free agency who was just chilling there. Doesn't hurt. You never know what he could do. Like I said, worst case scenario, he could be a trade piece. CJ Hinojosa, Texas, 27 years old. Not a bad looking player. Checking out our outfield. Now, there is a big change that I made in the offseason. We're really crowded on center fielders. Of course, we got Mauricio Dubon back. So we shifted with the departure of Alex Dickerson to the Marlins. We went out and we changed Fernando Del Villar's position to left field. And the reason I did that is because we have speed in center. We have speed in center with Mauricio Dubon, So we needed to shore up our left field defense and speed. As you can see, 95 speed, which is great. So Del VR, you want your weakest fielder in left field, and that's where he's at. So he will definitely be the weakest out of him, Dubon and Yastrzemski. But as you can see, very good numbers, 23 years old. We locked him up as well, give him more money than what he asked for. So hopefully that'll help boost his ratings a little bit. But he will be our everyday left fielder. He's got a lot of time. There's one of our draft picks from last season, Laycaster, 21 years old from Louisiana. And I know he's a D potential, but he doesn't look like a half bad player. I bet you at some point he's going to change into a C potential player. And I don't mind C potential players. His fielding is god awful, but if we can have Alex Dickerson in the outfield, then we can have Lou Laycaster in the outfield. So, pretty good contact from both sides. And of course, Pedro Diaz and Jose Gutierrez, two guys that we got in trades last season as they continue to develop. Very similar skill set along with Laycaster. Center field, Hunter Bishop, AAA, big prospect. Could see some time at some point, just not right now. Mauricio Dubon is our starter center fielder. We're going to hope he has a better year this year than he had last season, as he got 2 years and close to $3 million, so pretty cheap. No issues with that. And of course, we got players like Luis Basabe, Alexander Canario, and Steven Duggar's back. He's going to be in the majors as well. He did very good contact-wise. His average dropped off near the end of the season, but he didn't see that many at-bats. He only had 100 at-bats, so, look into that however you will. And, of course, we got Elliott Ramos, his development's actually stalled a little bit, and it's got me concerned. He's been stuck at a 66 overall since, I believe, July of last season. So he hasn't really advanced that much. So I'm going to get him more playing time because I still have hope for him to come at some point. Maybe not this year, but in the near future. And lastly, we're looking at right field. We brought back Yastrzemski. I know I was on the fence about him. We sent him an arbitration offer, but at the arbitration hearing, they sided with Yastrzemski, so he's making $1.4 million, which is still fine. I mean, I don't care. That's good. I'll take that. 31 years old, 84 potential. Obviously, our right fielder. Austin Slater's back with us. 1.5 arbitration went with him as well. So he's also back in right field. He killed lefties. We have a lot of left-handed hitters that can hit off righties, but we didn't have so many righties that could hit off lefties. And Slater is definitely one of those righties that can hit off hitters. As you see, 83 contact versus lefties. So even smacked a couple of home runs last year. So let's see if he can improve. The average didn't look great, but let's see if we can improve with that. And of course, we got Franklin Labor, Jason Ramirez in there, and a very interesting signing in Trenton Brooks. Got some good vision. I don't think he's up, but he's a very interesting prospect to me. 8 hand, a lot of contact, a lot of speed, no fielding. So Mickey Mcdonald, I'll be honest, I don't know where I got this guy. So I'm just going to be completely honest with you. So how are we going to do? I don't know. Time will tell with this team. Time will tell with this team when it comes to that. We start off with a pretty rough schedule against the Dodgers, and then we see the Diamondbacks. I pull up my schedule real quick here. We have 4 of the Dodgers, 3 at Arizona, and then our home opener is actually against the Cubs, and then we have the Angels for 2 games. So should be interesting. I don't know how we're gonna do. Games will be up just whenever, really. If you don't, subscribe to the channel, keep up with all the Giant stuff, and I'll do video requests if you're curious about a certain team. Let me know. There was a lot of shifting. I could do a whole video just on who went where. There was a lot of changes. But I'm not going to cover that. I'm a Giants GM, not an MLB GM. So feel free to make suggestions. Tell me what you think. What are your expectations of this team? We're going to try to do game 1 soon. I believe I'll have Robbie Ray versus Kershaw. So that'll do it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you understand the roster a little bit more as we start the 2022 season. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm just telling you straight how it is, you know. No editing. I'm not talented enough for that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave it a like if you want. That would be great. Even if you don't subscribe, that's fine. I would like to get to 100 subscribers so I can have an actual URL and not a bunch of letters and numbers. That's pretty much my only goal at the moment. Get 100 subscribers. We're at 73. So if you can help out, that's great. Even if you don't want to subscribe, at least you can maybe share it, suggest it to someone who maybe likes franchise stuff. I'm always willing to talk to other franchise people. So anyway, I'm Amos, and I will see you for opening day in LA. Go Giants.